the South was charmed. Incredible crowd pictures from Trump's thank you to show his adoring female fan base and thousands praying in their seats in Bible Belt, Alabama. Donald Trump arrived in Mobile, Alabama on the last stop of his thank you tour on Saturday afternoon. He was greeted by Azalea Trail Maids, which consist of 50 teens who serve as ambassadors for the city. And members of the crowd were seen praying as he talked of his triumph in the polls. Trump was at Ladd-Peebles Stadium in August 2015, and he won the state in a landslide with 62.9% of vote. Gave the crowd a play-by-play of how he won state after state, calling the electoral vote genius several times. Called to the stage his pick for Attorney General, former Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, as well as former campaign manager Kellyanne Conway. Donald Trump ended his thank you tour in Mobile, Alabama on Saturday afternoon, where a crowd of thousands gathered in the Bible Belt state to listen, cheer, and pray. Ahead of his appearance, crowds, including scores of ladies waving Women for Trump signs, broke from cacophonous cheers to clasp their hands in silent hope for the president-elect. Trump, characteristically, was anything other than silent for much of the rally, as he returned to the stage at the Ladd-Peebles Stadium, which he'd last attended in August 2015, and said, "This is where it all began. Remember that incredible rally we had? I'm here today for one reason. To thank the people of Alabama. We are really the people who really love this country." Trump took Alabama with 62.1% of the vote in the election. Clinton had 34.4%. That said, he did enjoy a somewhat lavish arrival in his own plane earlier in the afternoon, as 2 water cannon trucks fired into the air, announcing his arrival at the Mobile airport. As he stepped off the plane, a gaggle of young women in an array of elaborate, colorful dresses, the Mobile Azalea Trail Maids, welcomed him to the town. Trump's jaw dropped as the women, dressed in Old South hoop skirts, eagerly gathered around him. Trump, who drew 30,000 supporters at the Mobile rally in 2015, took to the stage on Saturday in the rain. He singled out his supporters, calling out the southern states, as well as evangelical Christians, veterans, law enforcement and servicemen for their support while emphasizing his anti-establishment rhetoric. He said, "They defied the pundits, defied the pollsters, and the special interests, and delivered a historic win for the American worker and the American people." The president-elect also took pot shots at the TV pundits who said he would lose the election. "They got paid a lot of money," Trump said. "They don't know what the hell they're talking about, folks." But he pulled his punches when it came to First Lady Michelle Obama, who in excerpts from an interview with Oprah Winfrey set to air on CBS on Monday, said, "We feel the difference now. See, now, we're feeling what not having hope feels like." "I honestly believe she meant that statement in a different way than it came out," he told the crowd. As supporters cheered and chanted, "Build that wall," Trump promised to uphold respect for the American flag, crack down on illegal immigration and bolster the military. But Trump, who has called for an end to caps on the military budget, made sure to add, "We will be smart with how we spend our money." He also said, "We are not going to spend $4.2 billion on Air Force One. Boeing is going to do a much less expensive plane than that." During several points of his speech, Trump accused the media for being dishonest and emphasized his win despite all odds. He gave the crowd a play-by-play of how he found out he had won state after state, replaying the election night and the story of his shocking victory. That saw him taking 306 votes in the Electoral College, plenty more than the 270 required to win, despite losing the popular vote by a record-breaking 2.5 million ballots. Trump called the electoral vote genius several times. "I never appreciated it until now, how genius it was," he said. The president-elect briefly called to the stage his pick for Attorney General, former Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, as well as his former campaign manager Kellyanne Conway, whom he congratulated for becoming the first woman in U.S. history to lead a successful presidential campaign. His former press secretary Hope Hicks made a brief appearance on stage too, and Trump praised her for being really talented. He also pointed out Franklin Graham, the son of Reverend Billy Graham, in the crowd and thanked him for his support. Trump during his rally promised to rebuild the country's infrastructure, telling the crowd Americans would go back to the old days when products were marked, "Made in America." He then conducted what he called a free poll, asking the crowd whether the tag should say "Made in America" or "Made in the U.S.A." He said one, then the other, judging what the public preferred based on the loudness of their cheers. The crowd seemed to favor "Made in the U.S.A." screaming loudly and chanting, "USA! USA!" while Trump smiled. "Okay. Can we do one more poll?" Trump asked. "What the hell, it's raining but we all soaking wet so it doesn't matter." He then reminded the crowd that Time magazine had named him Person of the Year, but bashed the publication for not calling him Man of the Year. The president-elect settled the matter by asking the crowd to cheer for the option they preferred, giving them a choice between Person of the Year and Man of the Year. The public seemed to favor Man of the Year, which was Trump's choice too. "I thought so. And it's pretty simple, if it's a woman you say Woman of the Year," he said.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. If you like, donate to us, visit home on the page PayPal.